And good morning. Welcome to the Sunday morning service here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Laguna Beach. And we are so glad you've joined us today for worship at UUFLB. My name is Pamela Floodman, and I will be serving as the worship associate this morning. And as we begin our service, we acknowledge that we are meeting together, we are joining together in worship on land which is the ancestral unceded territory of the Ahashiman and the Tongva tribes. And we acknowledge these indigenous peoples as the traditional land caretakers who claim their place, who act as stewards as they protect their ancestral lands and the earth as they have for the past thousands of years. And we humbly offer our gratitude to the First Nations for their care of the earth, for their teachings, and with humility we commit to learning and working on behalf of justice in all of the ways that we can. Each Sunday in this fellowship, and anywhere there is a service held in a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a chalice is lit. The flaming chalice is the enduring symbol of our faith. So if you've joined us this morning by Zoom, I invite you to light a chalice within your home. Our chalice lighting words this morning were written by Reverend Jennifer Grayson, who's the interim minister of St. John's Unitarian Universalist Church in Cincinnati, Ohio. We come together every week, bound not by a creed or a mutual desire to please one God or many gods, yet we are drawn together by a belief that how we are in the world, who we are together matters. We light our chalice together in the knowledge that love, not fear, can change the world. So today we are fortunate to be visited again by Yvette McDonell, who has been a frequent guest here at UUFLB over the last several years, and a guest by Zoom, although part of my heart hopes one day maybe Yvette and her family will be here in Southern California rather than in Maine and will visit us in person. Yvette is a Starr King School of the Ministry graduate, and she has a master's degree in social change and certificates in chaplaincy and multireligious studies. And I love the words that one of her professors at Starr King has used to describe Yvette. This is from Reverend Anthony Johnson, one of the professors at Starr King. Yvette is a learned elder in training. And Yvette is an interfaith chaplain whose roots are in the African American tradition of the Baptist Church and branches that spread wide to offer space for the many ways of knowing in the world. Her approach is rooted in love, healing, and ancestral wisdom, offering hope and inspiration to those navigating life changes. Yvette has a background in social justice, which helps her support those who've been marginalized by society and companions those who are interested in exploring their biases. Yvette has entitled today's service, Embracing Change with Patience, Humility, and Grace. And in describing this service, Yvette wrote that life is like a river, constantly ebbing and flowing, not allowing for stagnation. Change is a constant presence, and our approach to change plays a pivotal role in skillfully navigating the obstacles that accompany it. So today, Yvette is inviting us to venture alongside her as she shares her current exciting and challenging experience in approaching change with patience, humility, and with grace. And One of the things we always enjoy when Yvette joins us for Sunday morning service here at UUFLB is the beautiful music that she brings and that she ties together in her service. So this morning's service will be filled with music. As it turns out, one of Yvette's favorite hymns is also a favorite in this congregation, Spirit of Life. So we will begin our worship today by singing this beautiful hymn together with our amazing music director, Carol Cole. And we'll be singing the hymn in both English and Spanish. So if you're here in the building, please stand as you are comfortable in body, mind, or spirit as we join in singing together our opening hymn, number 123, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Fuente d'amor, ven hacia mí, y corazón cantaré tu compasión. Sopla valor, subit lumar, hasta mediar la justicia de la vida. Arrógame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí.
Each Sunday as we start our service, we recognize that there are so many of us who come together each week to make it possible for us to gather together and to worship on Sundays and to continue our work and community throughout each week. So I want to say a special thank to our Zoom and audiovisual techs, today Don West Jr. and Dara Skorecki, all of those who help take care of the building, plan ahead for the future of the building, ensure that we have beautiful music for every service, and really behind the scenes, the dedicated members of our board and worship committee who both met this week, planning together for our future. We are grateful for all of the members and the friends of this congregation. Thank you all. It really takes the work for everyone. And if there's someone here today who's looking for a way to get involved, and we know that you all have some hidden talents, there's probably an opportunity for you to apply your skills. At UUFLB, we are a welcoming congregation, and we have a commitment to work together, to make a difference, to build community, and to actively dismantle systemic racism and oppression in all of its forms. And being a welcoming congregation means for us that whoever you are, whomever you love, no matter your ancestral background or your life experiences, we welcome you to our community of mutual caring and serious intent to grow as spiritual and ethical beings. And whatever it is that's brought you here this morning, we are so glad that you are here. Unitarian Universalists subscribe to no single religious creed, but have gathered a set of principles that guide us as we build a religious community together. And the principles that Unitarian Universalist congregations affirm and promote are on the back of your order of service. So if you picked up an order of service on your way in, you can have a look at the principles there. They're also currently up on our screen. And our service theme this morning, embracing change with patience, humility, and grace, reminds me of our third principle. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we affirm and promote acceptance of one another, and to this I might add acceptance of ourselves, acceptance of one another, and encouragement to spiritual growth. So Yvette, we want to thank you very much for being here with us from Maine by Zoom, and thank you for inviting us to venture alongside you as you explore your process of approaching the changes that life brings to us. I do want to make a few announcements. First of all, regarding our upcoming services. So next Sunday, that's Labor Day weekend, and on September 1st, we will be having a guest speaker, Cesar Cardona, who brings together his background in theater and music as he weaves and tells stories that I think will be valuable for us as a congregation. And Cesar's topic for next Sunday is the thread that connects us all. It actually reminds me of a service several years ago that Yvette led for us with respect to threads. And Cesar will be delving into the symbolism of the thread through mythology, religion, philosophy, current culture, with a journey through the ages, looking at the relevance and the impact of the simple symbol of a thread that ties together past and present, that weaves the threads of our stories together into the fabric of our future. So I think next Sunday's service is going to be a really special one, and I hope that you're able to join us. September 8th, we will also be having a special service. Our own Don West Jr. will be leading us in a continuing reflection on a book which we read this summer and which was also the UU Common Read across the country this summer. This is a book written by Rabbi Danya Ruttenberg, and the book's title is On Repentance and Repair. And Don, thank you. I meant to ask whether you could bring up this beautiful slide from the summer for us. So through this book, Rabbi Ruttenberg has really encouraged us to focus, you know, when harms have been done, when harms have happened either to us or maybe harms that we have caused, not to focus so much on forgiveness, but rather on repentance and repair. And we spent time this summer working with this book, and we will be tying that up together in our service on September 8th, led by Don West Jr. So I hope you can join us for that service as well. For other events, I do want to remind people that every week on Mondays, there is a Zoom meeting, Mondays at noon. It's called Zoom at Noon, where anyone who wants to is welcome to join with a group of folk who share their lives and typically share a discussion topic and support each other through that meeting each week on Mondays. So I encourage you to learn more about that and join if you haven't done so already. And then also pointing ahead, not this week, but the following week, a group from this congregation, together with members from the Tapestry UU congregation, on the first Thursday of every month, works to provide a meal at the alternative sleeping location up in Laguna Canyon. And if this is something that you'd like to participate in, please, you can speak with me. I think you can probably speak with Candy. And if not this month, another month, I'm sure there'll be an opportunity if you want to work together and commit to providing a component of that meal. I know that the UU meals that are hosted once a month by us, also at other times during the month by the Tapestry congregation, are very much appreciated by the residents at the alternative sleeping locations. So this is important work that we do, and thank you all for being a part of it. Throughout the service this morning, I do want to invite you, if you are here with us in the building, at any point, feel free to come forward and light a candle here in the sanctuary in recognition of whatever it is that you're carrying with you today in your heart as you join us in worship. And it is such a joy for us to have guests on Sunday mornings. So if you are here this morning for the first or second time, and if you're comfortable doing so, we'd love to get to know you. So I'll ask those who are visiting if you would like to stand and share with us your name, where you are from, and what brings you to visit our church today. And I will start with those on Zoom. Do we have anyone joining by Zoom who is a guest who would like to introduce themselves? I think we do. But I can't see really well from here. Is there anyone, Dara? Okay. And then, is there anyone here in the building who is visiting us for the first or second time today who would like to stand and introduce themselves? So if you give a minute, Dara will bring you a microphone, and then the folks too.
Hello everyone, I'm James. I live down the corner, but obviously my accent isn't from down the corner. I'm from Australia, but I'm Australian American. And I walk past all the time with the dog, and I keep thinking I want to come in. And my main motivation for coming is I lost my parents recently, and both of them went to church, and this is an opportunity for me to just come in and remember them in a way that I think they would quite like it. So thanks.
There we go. Welcome. Welcome. I'm glad that you stopped in today, and hope that this is meaningful and helpful for you to be a part of this community today, and welcome at any time to come and join us. And I do want to thank you all for joining us here at UUFLB. We'd like to take just a moment now to turn to our neighbors for a quick greeting and to offer personal welcome to old and to new friends.
I want to say welcome to all the friendly faces that are visitors here with us on Zoom. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And to all the regular faces, hello.
Hello, Dawn. Are you coming in for your talk in 2 weeks?
It'll be a surprise. I don't even know.
Oh, okay. Hi, Oakley. Hi, Jane.
Say hello to Linda for me, Oakley, please.
Sure will. Nice, Dawn.
Thank you.
And who's Anjali?
Anjali is my daughter.
Oh, okay. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to be back and see you all here. Oakley, it's good to see you again as well. Robin, thank you for coming. And Rachel and Norsola, glad you were here. And everybody else joining us today.
Again, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here this morning. And please stay after the service if you're able to enjoy coffee and conversation. Perhaps if we're lucky, Yvette will be able to stay on for a few minutes on the Zoom as well if you want to connect with Yvette after the service. And if you're visiting us this morning, please let us know if you'd like to be added to the email mailing list so that you can receive advance notice of services and other events. And there's a sign-up sheet in the back on the bench where you can write down your email address if you'd like to do so. Well, I mentioned earlier that music, I think, is always an important part of the services that Yvette brings to us. And so now as we start our service, Yvette has chosen a music video to get us started.
Get on your feet, y'all. Let's rock for about 4.5 minutes. Look at somebody and say, baby, he's an on-time God. Children of Israel trapped at the Red Sea. By that means, Pharaoh and his army, they had water all around them, and Pharaoh on their track. I don't know where God stepped in. Just like that, time gone. Yes, see. Oh, yes, see. Joe said, but
Turn the volume down. There we go. Wow.
Wow. Yes. Woo. Yes, he's an on-time God. Yes, he is. He may not come when you want him, but he'll be there right on time. He's an on-time God. Yes, he is. Amen. Ashe, and blessed be. I just wanted to share with you all the powerful impact of a classic gospel song, On Time God by Miss Dottie Peoples. This timeless hymn has always resonated deeply with me ever since I was a child. Its message serves as a poignant reminder that things may not always unfold as quickly and as smoothly as we would like, but ultimately they happen at the perfect time that's ordained just for us. Today, I am uplifting the UU fourth principle of free and responsible search for truth and meaning. The fourth principle seeks to being responsible religious seekers. We recognize that we are privileged to be free, to have resources to pursue life beyond mere survival, to continually search for truth and meaning, to exist beyond the bonds of dogma and oppression, and to wrestle freely with truth and meaning as they evolve. And in life is constantly evolving, and embracing change and navigating life's journey can be challenging at times. For me, music and dance and poetry have become sacred companions, offering solace and strength in times of change. And as I'm a truth seeker and appreciate the many ways of knowing, not only do my gospel roots center me during times of change, such as the song we just heard, On Time God, I also find words of poetry comforting as well. As of late, I have found inspiration in the words of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's poem, The Tide Rises, the Tide Falls, which beautifully mirrors the ebb and flow of life itself. These artistic expressions remind me of the interconnectedness between nature and our daily lives, which help me to find comfort and resilience in times of uncertainty. I invite you to be still with me for just a moment and take 3 deep breaths as we are called into fellowship today. And then I shall enjoy the words and sharing with you of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, The Tide Rises and the Tide Falls. I invite you to close your eyes if it feels comfortable. I invite you to take yourself off camera if that feels good. And just breathe with me. Breathe along with me for 3 deep breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. The tide rises, the tide falls. The twilight darkens, the curlew calls. Along the sea sands damp and brown, the traveler hastens toward the town. And the tide rises, the tide falls. Darkness settles on roofs and walls. But the sea in the darkness calls. The little waves with their soft white hands efface the footprints in the sands. and the tide rises, the tide falls. The morning breaks, the steeds in their stalls stamp and neigh as the holster calls. The day returns, but nevermore returns the traveler to shore. And the tide rises, and the tide falls.
Mm. Mm.
Let us take a moment now to remind ourselves why we come together as a community. And I invite you to read these words together when and if it feels right for you. And if you've joined us by Zoom, please join us as well so that all voices can be joined together. The words of the unison affirmation are on your screens, and please join me in reading. May
May we be reminded here
of our
of our highest aspirations
and
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 inspired
to bring
gifts
our gifts of
of
love
love
and
and
service
of
to
humanity.
the altar of
humanity.
humanity.
May we know once
Once
again
Once
that
again,
we are not isolated
are
beings,
not isolated,
but
but
connected
but
in
connected
mystery
and
and
miracle
miracle to the
to the
universe,
universe,
to this
to this
community,
community,
and
and to each other.
And we have come to a time in our service to briefly share the important events that have touched our lives during this past week. It is a blessing to be part of sustaining this community where we can share our sorrows and provide for each other support and care that are essential for all of us, and also where we can share our joys so that they can be amplified and extend beyond ourselves into the community. So during this time of sharing joys and concerns, we will pause the recording of this. Recognize it is as much a blessing to be able to give as it is to receive. That's a lesson I learned early on in my life from a favorite great aunt of mine. And we also know that in this self-governing, self-sustaining community, it is our responsibility to both give and to receive and to do both well. And so during this time of offering, we will be passing a basket within the fellowship. And for those of you on Zoom, the information on your screen also provides additional ways that you can give. Thank you all, and please join us now as we sing to each other words that express our sincere gratitude. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. And if you like, please stand while we sing.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
And now I invite our guest minister, Yvette McDonell to bring us along on her journey.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening. Oh, wherever you may be today. What a beautiful day it is to be here with all of you at Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Laguna Beach. And I am truly honored to be here today with you. And I want to give special thanks to the worship team. And I'm thankful you all keep inviting me to return to share time and space with you all. For those of you who are new here or who are just joining us today, I am Yvette McDonell, a spiritual companion ritualist, interfaith chaplain, curandera, root woman, sage, seer, wise woman, and in some places I need no name at all. My roots are in the Black tradition of the Baptist Church, and my branches spread wide and far to offer space for the many ways of knowing that exist in this material and dream world and beyond. I invite you to journey with me today with my Baptist roots in mind as I magnify today's music selection that is rooted in a tapestry of gospel music, ancestors, and centered on deep patience, humility, and grace. I want to open today's sermon with the fourth principle in mind: free and responsible search for truth and meaning. I've been sitting with the search for truth and meaning for some time now, as my life has been in constant flux and change for many years. You know, it's not something that I've talked too much about, but as part of my own healing journey and modeling for my daughter, who is here today. And this sermon today serves as a reminder to myself that I want to share with you all how I search for truth and meaning and how they are unfolding for me today. I want to invite you to get comfortable and journey with me as I share vulnerably and deeply a personal story about how I am doing my best to embrace change with patience, humility, and grace. It has not been easy. It has been a process for sure, and it will continue to be. So please, please, please bear with me as I take you on a meandering path of my story, a story that weaves in and out of one another, a story that is filled with joy and a bit of messiness, and a story that's ultimately filled with hope. To tell you the truth, I wasn't really sure where or how to begin this story, so I thought I would just start at the beginning. So, 21 years ago, I met a man online. His name is Rob. Rob is here today with us as well. Rob and I fell in love quickly. We met in April, we got engaged in September, and we married that following May. We honeymooned in Boothbay Harbor, which is in Portland. We honeymooned in Boothbay Harbor and Portland, which are both in Maine. And that is when I fell in love with Maine on our honeymoon. It was like a beauty that I didn't even know existed and I had never encountered before. It was love at first sight. The ocean called to me and the environment was still and offered me a sense of peace and calmness I never knew I needed. After our honeymoon, and fast forward to our story, Rob and I had the privilege to live in many different places together and have many adventures. We lived in Easton, Pennsylvania, where we bought our first house, and I opened up a boutique. And then we moved to York, Pennsylvania, where our beautiful daughter, Anjali, was born. Anjali, her name is Sanskrit, which means divine offering, which she truly is. And it's also a yoga mudra where you put your hands together like so, and they're placed together in a prayer formation to show honor and respect. And when Anjali was about 10 months old or so, that is when we returned to Maine and made Maine our home. We first started out in Portland, and then we settled and bought a home with 3 acres an hour west of Portland when Anjali was almost 3 years old. Rob and I both wanted a space where we could grow our little family, grow our food, and Anjali would have plenty of space to run and play. I was so excited to buy our home with these 3 acres. And this is where Rob and I, with the help of Anjali, created a large, beautiful organic garden where we gardened year after year after year, planting potatoes and corn and carrots, kale, collard greens, summer and winter squash, string beans, and tomatoes, just to name a few. We picked wild blueberries in the woods on our property, and Anjali, oh my goodness, Anjali ate out of the garden as though it was her very own personal candy store with extra sprinkles of dirt for added nutrition. I had the beautiful privilege to homeschool Anjali until she was in 8th grade. She's going into 10th grade this fall. We hosted so many cookouts and had so many potlucks. I held spiritual gatherings for women in the community in our home. I had a bazillion play dates there. And I sipped tea and wine with dear friends. And we had more parties than I can even think of. I learned to stack wood. I learned to cook on a wood stove. I even learned to live without electricity for sometimes up to 4 days during the snowstorms. I became a better herbalist, and I planted all kinds of herbs around our property, and I became the queen of layering and had an appreciation of good wool socks and soft merino wool long johns. I learned to depend and accept help from our neighbors. I learned to slow down to the rhythm of nature and mimic the seasons. I embraced the negative 22 temperatures with air that felt crisp and cool like a peppermint patty when I would breathe in the frigid, dry air. I even had my up close and personal planetarium right outside our door as our little family would venture out, all bundled up in the dead of night, to lay on the icy cold snow and stargaze. Our lives were full and simple, you know? Living in Maine helped me to become the person that I am today. And for that, I will be eternally grateful. Now, I feel like I've painted just a picture perfect storybook life of what a portion of my life with Rob has been like for the last 21 years. We've been married for 20 and we dated for a year, so that's the 21 years that we've been together. However, truth be told, it was far from perfect. Our tides would rise and fall, and rise and fall again and again, like any other relationship, I guess. Each day would die to be reborn again anew, just as each season and in between the birth and death cycles of each day and each season in each year, there was a lot of joy, lots of love and lots of laughter. And there were some struggles for sure. Some struggles were harder to come back from others. Over the years, our relationship had shifted. And it was hard for me to reconcile at times, as I wanted our relationship to last forever. I believed in us, and I was really rooting for us. However, sometimes relationships, romantic and platonic, are there for a season, are there to teach us a lesson, and they're not there by accident. I realized that my marriage was all three. My marriage had 20 trips around the sun. And it taught me so much about life and how to be in relationship with myself and how to be in relationship with others. And I believe we were brought together for a reason. So, making the hard decision to get a divorce was something that was not easy, and one I was not well versed in. You see, there weren't and aren't any magazines that are dedicated how to move on gracefully from your 20-year marriage, as there were magazines that were dedicated to the special day of getting married. I should know, I bought tons of those magazines. There weren't any shows on Lifetime about how to untie the knot, so to speak. There wasn't a big divorce party that I had dreamed up in my head with all of my family and friends coming to wish us well on our new separate journeys together. Perhaps there should be. I don't know. I had never gotten a divorce before. I had no idea what to do. But what I do know is that for a bit of time, I had so much anxiety about how I was going to start over again, especially when it came to finances. See, these are things that people don't talk about openly. I held a sense of shame and a sense of guilt and failure that I was carrying around, because so much of the media that exists around love and the stories about love are all about happily ever after, not about what happens when it doesn't last. So after many tears, I had to figure out how I was going to embrace such a big change as leaving my marriage of 20 years and what it was going to look like. I knew I had the free will to search for truth and meaning, that I could choose to move with patience. I could choose to move with humility. I could choose to move with grace. And luckily for me, I had a host of friends and family who loved me dearly and offered reaffirming advice, love, and kindness. I also knew I had an amazing toolkit that was recently enhanced with lifelong lessons that I learned in seminary about patience, humility, and grace. Whew. And as I mentioned before, my toolkit is brimming with songs and poems and profound wisdom from my Black Baptist faith tradition roots, ancestors, and the diverse ways of knowing in the world. And I am blessed and highly favored, and I possess everything that I need to move ahead with fortitude, bravery, and discernment. Now, be honest, Asla, between tears and sometimes self-doubt, I have had to have many good old-fashioned pep talks with myself. I look myself in the mirror and I say, you got this. You are going to be all right. And there's nothing left to do but to look forward and onward. So the big question now was, how am I going to do this? How am I going to move with patience? How am I going to move with humility? And how on earth am I going to move forward with grace? How is patience going to manifest itself for me as I welcome this new change? This was not going to be easy for me because anybody who knows me knows that I am not a patient person. I want things to happen yesterday. So I had to remember that patience lives in my deep breathing. And it's with me all the time. Patience is so kind to me as it waits for me during the stillness of the night when all is quiet in the world. Patience and I connect when I hear my mom's voice telling me, where there's a will, there's a way. Excuse me. Patience is knowing not to worry about a thing because every little thing is going to be all right. Patience is the sweet smell of rain and sometimes eating oatmeal for dinner and letting the dishes sit where they are. Patience is the feel of the gentle rocking motion that soothes my soul, that's locked in my DNA, and having it on the highest faith that He's an on-time God, and He may not come when I want Him, but He'll be there right on time. Patience is treating myself to my favorite chocolate and loving myself first and foremost so I can be present for Anjali and for Rob as well as we navigate a new path in life. Another part of embracing change is leaning into the lessons of humility and grace. Forgiveness and acceptance are essential parts of humility and grace for me, as it's a huge component that is allowing me to move forward in my life in a positive way. Remember, I have a choice. I do my best to continue to move with compassion and empathy for our entire family. And trust me, I do not always get it right. Moving with humility and grace means sometimes I have to apologize for having, or not for having, but when I have really, really big feelings, not for having them, but sometimes I do need to say sorry and come back. It's remembering to listen to both Rob and Anjali and hear and understand their points of perspective during this challenging time of our transition. It's me being more conscious of Anjali needing and wanting more mommy time, hugs and snuggles. It's saying yes more to life. It's letting go and doing things that make me happy. As our friend recently told me, it's remembering that Rob has feelings too. And it's also remembering never, ever to speak ill of him to our daughter Anjali, and that I will always love her father. It's learning to develop a new kind of relationship with Rob. One where we're not husband and wife, but lifelong friends that will be there for each other no matter what. Sometimes Rob and I even joke that even if I were to get remarried, he will still come over for Sunday dinner with me and my new husband because he loves my cooking so much, and he will always have a seat at the table. It's about being curious and open to allowing our new journey to unfold with excitement and ease and as much peace and grace as possible. So, 2 weeks ago, Anjali and I left Maine. We were sent off with so much love and support from those in our Maine community, and we moved to a suburb of Philly, not too far from where I grew up. We have been welcomed home by old friends and family. As part of our family transition of embracing change with patience, humility, and grace, Rob helped us pack up our things as it was bittersweet, and he helped us get settled and moved into our new apartment. And we are constantly reminding Anjali that our 3 acres in Maine is our family home. My brother Charlie and his family met us here to help us unload the truck. And he was so taken back that Rob and I are still working together for the greater good of all of us. He basically said he had never seen 2 people who were getting divorced work together the way that we are. For those moments of Rob and I working together in a positive way for the greater good of all of us, I'm grateful. We believe we are still a family, but one that has just chosen a different path. I'm not sure how it's going to look in a year or 5 or 10 years down the line, but for now, Rob and I are finding new ways of being in a relationship, a friendship of sorts, as we meander along different pathways, separate, but we're still connected. I wanted to share a piece of my story about embracing change with patience, humility, and grace as a way to remind myself that our daughter is watching. She has been watching. And the way we navigate this transition is going to influence how she embraces change, how she will be in relationship with others, and how she will move forward in life when she is met with adversity. I shared with you all today to remind myself to lean into challenging times with the 4th principle in mind, and that I have a responsibility to my own spiritual growth and search for truth and meaning to offer a sense of inspiration to others who may be going through challenging times, who may be going through change. And I want to dedicate this sermon to the many special women in Maine who helped me get here today, who have held space for me over the years, listened to me, cared for me, fed me. I am dedicating this service to Rob, who has supported me. I'm dedicating the service to a family who has helped our family navigate this difficult terrain. Thank you to all of my childhood friends and college friends who have been there, who call and check in on me. They've met me for lunch since we've been here. They've welcomed Anjali and I back home with open arms. I'm thankful to all of those who have texted Anjali to check in on her. And I am thankful to all of you here today that are holding my story and bearing witness. Special thanks to Rob, who is here today, for accompanying me for 21 years as my husband and friend. And I am grateful to the Most High, for I never would have made it without you. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
Ashe.
It's the time for us to extinguish the chalice here at UUFLB and within our homes. We extinguish the flame, but we keep its light in our hearts with its message of love and of justice, taking it outside these walls to the world we all live in until we are together again.
And as our fellowship time together comes to a close for this week, I invite you to reflect upon the fourth UU principle once again and consider, how can you seek truth and meaning while embracing change? And as I continue to embrace change, well, as I continue to do my best, embracing change with patience and humility and grace, I've been inspired by Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4 through 7. And remember that love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices with truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. And with that, amen, ashe, and blessed be. Let there be peace on earth.
Peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With earth as our mother, we are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment, live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Have a lovely Sunday.